D Pixtian wanted to know, what was your feeling seeing yourself in that makeup for the very first time, standing in front of that mirror?
It almost like gives myself shiver, like
Yeah.
giving myself shivers. Yeah, it's because sometimes like I would notice it just from other crew and cast members. Like I would try to, joke around and stuff between takes and try to keep things light for the most part whenever we're not in the scene, because some people would just be like, you could tell they were like a little bit on pins and needles when I walked by, because it was just like, whoa, that guy looks crazy. Like, it's like, and then when I got into character and really got into it in some of the takes where there's more like, like intense scenes, then some people did, say to me afterwards, like, whoa, man, that like shivers. And I've been working on shows for however many. So I knew I was on the right track with doing that particular character justice. And so, yeah, sometimes I did scare myself with where the energy went and where and how I looked and everything. It just was like, I had to kind of like, I struggled with it, to be honest, for a while there. I was like, how can I really keep playing this? Because
Right.
when it's over 2 seasons, it is intense, because I obviously never played a character like that for that length of time before, and it's a serious commitment, because you can't just get in and out of it like whenever they yell cut, because you still look like that character.
Correct.
And you're gonna look like that character for like however long the day is, 12, 14 hours, however long, plus the time to get into makeup and to get out of makeup. So it's you're really in it, like it's not easy being green. I have to quote Kermit the Frog. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. It's not easy being green.
Did D. John wanted to know, did the role ever bring you nightmares? Or contribute to unsettling you subconsciously that way?
I mean, like, I remember I can't remember what episode where my character was like getting into the dreams. I think of Rachel Luttrell's character.
Yes.
But yeah, which episode was that?
That was The Gift.
The Gift, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And so that whole episode was kind of dreamy. So because of the dreamy nature of that episode, I think it kind of warped just even reality that day, because it was just kind of like, oh, everything's just a little bit off today. So it's actual nightmares. I don't know about actual nightmares, but I think I did struggle with it. I mean, like, I only did season 1 and season 2, and I chose to leave the show after the end of season 2.
Season 3.
Was it season? Yeah,
wasn't it season? No, sorry, you're right. Season 2. You're absolutely right. My apologies.
No problem. I did the last episode of season 2, I believe, and I think that was the same episode.
Allies, and we saw yourself for the first time.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I did have, like I said, I did struggle with the intensity of it, because I come from like a comedy background. Like, most of the stuff I did, like leading up to that was of comedic nature, like a lot of comedic commercials and stuff, which maybe not seen internationally, but seen in Canada nationally and stuff like this, and that's kind of a little more of my everyday vibe. So it was kind of a polar opposite of what I usually embody energy wise. And so I think I went, after 2 seasons, I was like, yeah, I think I fully explored it, and I think I'm ready to step away and let somebody else to have the opportunity. And I loved everybody on the show. I loved the cast and crew. It was just me just having to be like, yeah, I think it's time I go back to my first love of comedy. And I went back to Toronto and started studying at Second City comedic improv training center, and I got right back into comedy. And I think that's what I was missing at the time, but I really enjoyed the time I had doing it, and I appreciate it more now than ever. I think at the time I was like, I was pretty young too. I mean, like, I was probably, like, we're talking almost 20 years ago now, right? Like,
exactly.
It's 19 years ago that 2003.
2004,
right?
The show started airing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we started shooting in 2003, but yeah, it started airing in 2004. Yeah, so whatever it is, 18 years, like, it's basically half a lifetime ago for me. So yeah, I think I was still young and just didn't know how to handle a lot of the stuff that came with that. And so, yeah, a little bit was overwhelming for me, but I think I think I've definitely grown a lot since then and since that project. And I come to really appreciate that experience now more than ever.
In hindsight, do you regret leaving when you did, or was it still strategically the best time for you in hindsight to take a bow?
I mean, timing is like, it's hard to say. I mean, like, hindsight is 2020. Mm-hmm. And there's part of me that's like, oh, I wonder if I stayed in like the full 5 seasons, like how that would have been different for, for everything. But you can't think that way. I feel like at the time I was really struggling with it. In fact, I was struggling with it at the end of season 1. And so I was like, I'll do one more season. And then if I'm not feeling it after one more season, then I will. But I mean, I was feeling those same things after season 1. So it wasn't a new feeling that came up at the end of season 2. It was something that I was just like, I wanted to, do by myself, like do good by myself.
And also, we're not just talking leaving Stargate, we're also talking leaving the West Coast too and heading back east. So there's a lot going on.
So I left the city. Like it was a huge like change for me, like leaving, and it wasn't an easy decision. Like I literally was like, I had a therapist at the time that I was like talking about it with regularly and being like, and yeah, I really like doing this. This is the biggest success I've had in my acting career. It's an amazing experience. Any actor should be like totally grateful as I am for that experience. But at the same time, I was like, it was kind of a little bit heart-wrenching for me. And I was kind of like, okay, I just kept going and going and going. But by the end of season 2, I was like, okay, yeah, I think I need to step away and get back to my roots of comedy. And just, I think that's kind of my happy place, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, again, I felt like it was time at the time.
I would think, and I've been fortunate enough to have a number of the Atlantis folks, the Stargate folks in general on the show. And I would think under normal circumstances, doing the number of episodes that you were doing every season would be stressful enough. But to add on top of that, the layers of makeup and the prosthetics and the teeth and everything that you were going through, I can imagine after a little bit while it'd be like, is there an angle to this I haven't explored? I think we're good. So, yeah. And I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah. I mean, the one other possibility was if like one of the Wraith like actually was so like turned from his species and like went vegan or whatever,
right?
And like chose not to feed off of humans, and then like walked a new kind of way of life. Then maybe like that I would consider that, and like to have the maybe camaraderie of the crew would be part of like a crew, kind of like Worf is. I mean, I think that makes a big difference. I think. I mean, he obviously I referenced it before, but yeah, Star Trek Next Generation was a huge influence on me, and I love the character of Worf, and I did impressions of the character of Worf, and I felt like, yeah, his whole thing with like being part of the Federation, but also being, of this warrior clan of the Klingons, he found that balance in the character, the writers as well, obviously, but as far as how he portrayed it, and having those moments where he's doing those ceremonies that he needs to do, but also, representing the Federation on the deck, like, yeah, I think that would have been the type of character shift that would be needed for me to continue in that capacity as a non-human, heavily prosthetic kind of character. Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from Dial the Gate. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. It's our goal to share a new Stargate story every day while we're on break. Please feel free to subscribe to future episodes here on YouTube. And if you have Stargate friends who might like this clip, let them know about us. Be sure to visit dialthegate.com to view the complete archive, as well as transcripts from past interviews. I'll see you on the other side.